to have, I would say, Lori, hospitals that have pediatric arms. Not every hospital is going to have the ability to treat pediatric patients like we sort of have here in our neck of the woods. I mean, my kids have had surgeries and things like that. Not every town in America is going to have preeminent facilities, research facilities to do that.
That's absolutely right.
Right? Am I right, Glenn?
Absolutely. And I mean, I have to give a shout out to the Bristol Myers Squibb Children's Hospital at Robert Wood Johnson, because that's who we primarily work with. And I now know the professionals and medical staff there for 10 years. I give the highest endorsement possible to that children's hospital. If I won the Mega Millions tonight, I would take a substantial part of it and give it to that children's hospital. That's how strongly I feel.
And I mean, you've got CHOP in Philly. I've done stories at a lot of these different hospitals, and I must say.
But CHOP does not have anything like Embrace Kids attached to them. And I know that because that's where one of Jacqueline's surgeries was. And there is, there's a social worker who maybe you'll see or maybe you won't see. There are no programs like that at Sloan or at CHOP.
But that's what we're here for today, is to say awareness. What can you do? Where can you go? How can you get these services? And people need to know during those desperate times, you're busy trying to figure out, are you going to survive? Needless to say, is there going to be, sort of a program there for you to guide you? I mean, I'm sure that this kind of grief goes in stages. It's almost like living.
It does.
An active living grief.
And when
it's
you can't think anymore.
Post-grief. I'm not saying a death. You're alive trying to figure out, how am I going to get through? So these are discussions we need to be having, I think. We need to be having these in our communities, and we need to be saying, as a patient, what did I say earlier, as an advocate, what are you doing? I am the advocate for my child or for my parent who's older now. These are the things that we need. And if you're paying for them, then you need to figure out where you need to go to get what you need.
Absolutely. And Embrace Kids truly acts as an advocate for the patient and the family.
And we have power, we have power in our voices collectively. And that's why I always tell people, if you don't like something, because so often they would say, well, I don't like this. And of course, covering news stories for so long. And I would say, but have you said something? Have you spoken up? Have you attended, a community session? Have you, and the simplest thing of all, have you written a letter? Have you, and now of course we can, if we're able to, go online or even make a phone call. Companies recognize those calls, and there's a formula, that they use. One call could equal 1,000 people if it's a national or global organization, what have you. Let your voice be heard in a civil and focused and targeted way. If you don't like something, if you're finding that, my child did go through years of therapies and there are no drugs, I bet people did not realize how few resources and drug therapies there are.
The only reason I know what I know is because I've lived the life. I've gone through it. I've seen what other families have gone through. But before you're touched with something, you don't know. You don't know because it's not important to you.
And it's not in your universe at the moment.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that, you don't care.
Right.
But when illness sets in, it is the most difficult thing, because it has its own life. It has its own life. It takes its own course, sometimes despite the best of treatments. So, I think that for us to say, how can I be a part of the process of anything that we've talked about in these studios has just been great for us, because it allows people to make a difference in their own individual way, for their own individual cause, for something they want to reach out to. And I just say, do it. Pick something and do it. Pick something and do it. It's not up to us to tell you what to do. It's not our right to do that. But pick something and do it, and be proactive and I would say positive about it. Glenn, what do you want people to know most about making a difference? And as we, see the really rough times and economics of the day literally strangling some of our families, foreclosures, and so many folks without health insurance. And, I always feel like, though, there's still a way. There's still a way to help a little bit. And I want to encourage people that, times are rough, but we can always do a little something.
Well, I think that the Rutgers students and the event that's coming up serves as such a great example both for today and for the future. We've now had over 10,000 students be involved with the dance marathon in the past 13 years. They did that as a college volunteer experience. Those students are now out in the workplace and have their own families. And I always like to think through, well, what is the unknown impact, positive impact that those students are having in another organization they've gotten involved with, or with their family's lives or their neighbor? So overall, I would say, please start with young people, with your children, your grandchildren. Get them involved in something positive, because then they really learn about life. It will enrich their lives. It will better the entire world. I think it's very powerful. Young people, how they can pay it forward for all of us.
I think so too. And folks, we would love to hear your thoughts and how you're making a difference. You can always find me at J. Lewis Hall at greatermedianj.com. So you can always email me right through the website here at Magic 98.3, or on Twitter at Jen Lewis Hall. You can find me on Twitter. Or on Facebook as well. Again, Jen Lewis Hall on Twitter. And I'm just tweeting to let, folks know that this is coming up, but more importantly, making a difference, it does a body good.
Absolutely. It's a great event. It's student driven. The amount of energy that is in the College Avenue gym is incredible. And I would urge everybody to come out and support it. Make a donation if you can. Publicize it to your friends and family, and know that every penny donated is going to a phenomenal cause.
I think that's great. And let us know, if you are in need, or you have an organization that you want to highlight. We always love to hear from you, and we welcome that as well, because we are here for you. Glenn Jenkins, we want to thank you and congratulate you on 20 years. You look way too young to have been there all 20 years.
That is correct.
So, and he is confirming that.
Yes.
He wants us to know that he was not there, but certainly he'll take that congratulatory measure. Embrace Kids Dance-a-thon is happening April 2nd and 3rd in the Rutgers Gym in New Brunswick. We hope that you'll come out and join personalities from Magic and have a great time with us, as well as other personalities from the station as well. I'm Jennifer Lewis Hall, and I look forward to seeing you there. And I'm so glad that you could share your morning with me. Have a great week.
Life Advice with Jennifer Lewis Hall has been a production of Magic 98.3 Radio. Be sure to tune in next week for Life Advice with Jennifer Lewis Hall, right here on Magic 98.3.